everyone, it's Nikki again. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be an update for my Pan Those Eyeshadows project, and I'm super excited to share my progress with you. I actually have pan on 5 eyeshadows. Yes, 5. It's super exciting, and I cannot wait to share this with you, so keep watching. So just a little refresher on what last month's color scheme looked like, or color story. It was these 6 shades. This one right here is always the hardest to get to pick up, but it was these 6 shades, and they all came from my Morphe palettes and my Most Loved Mattes from Milani palette, which was really funny, and it actually took me a second to like realize that, oh my gosh, these are actually from just 2 palettes. But those are the shades, and I hit pan on 4 of these ones, which is super excited. And I also had some bonus pan, which came from my BH Cosmetics Love in London palette. I have been taking this palette with me when I go to like special events, for weddings. It also has a really big mirror that kind of covers the entire, or not the entire, about first knuckle in, and then it's all the way around. But I have been taking this with me to weddings. I had a few this year, and I hit pan in the shade Scone, which is a really pretty shade. I'm gonna try to, nice little transition shade. Okay, better. So you can barely see it because it almost matches my skin tone, but it's right there. That is the shade Scone, and I use it as a transition or to set my eyeshadow. So I've used it pretty much with every single look that I used in this palette, which is why it was panned pretty quickly. But the shimmers on here are so pretty. This blue one in particular is just like, ugh. Let's see, something. It's gonna shade Lovely. So gorgeous. I want to say this was like $15–16 when I picked it up. It was on Ulta, one of their like sales, for $9. Kicking myself because I was on a no buy for September, so I really wanted to pick up the Beauty in Barcelona palette, I think is what it's called, and it was at Ulta for $9. When typically the palettes from this collection are about $16, so I was like, dang it, now the sale's over. But very pretty palette, very easy to work with, and like I said, I've worn it to like a few weddings. This is the one I take with me for like those little special occasions, and I've created a few looks that I really love. So that was my bonus pan in this one, which is super exciting. Moving on to the ones that are actually in this project. From my Most Love Mattes palette, I had 3 shades in here that were part of my randomly selected ones, and as you can see, or maybe you can't, that's better. So as you can see, I have pan in 2 shades on here. This one right here, Don't Raise in Your Voice, has actually been in the project since the beginning. So I finally hit pan on this one, and it actually only took 4 uses since the first update. I pulled off on this a while because I was so tired of using it. But from the start of this project to when I hit pan, I used that shade, Don't Raise in Your Voice, a total of 24 times. So by the first update, I had used it 20 times, and I was using it mostly to like darken my outer corner and just deepen it up a little bit. And it literally took me 4 uses after that to hit pan, but I only hit pan on it maybe a week or so ago because I was like, I'm gonna step away from that shade before I go crazy. But I did get to hit pan, which was really exciting when I picked up the brush, and I was like, oh my god, there it is. After all this time, it's right there. The other shade that I hit pan on is this one right here, which is called Toast of the Town, and that one actually only took me 12 uses to hit pan on, which was really exciting as well, because I figured like Don't Raise in Your Voice took me so long to hit pan that it was going to take me forever to hit pan on any of the other ones, but I did have quite a bit of a dip when I started, and so I was using this one like as a transition shade. And you know, it's pretty decent transition, especially with so many browns that I have in this this color scheme. So I did get to hit that rather quickly, a lot quicker than the other one for sure, which was really exciting. So finally, 2 of the 3 from this one are panned, or at least you can see. The other shadow that I had in this palette for this project was Umber the Sun, and it's this one right here in the corner. And it had maybe like 1 or 2 uses before. I don't remember really reaching for it ever, but I've used it a total of 10 times between the last update and now, and you can kind of see a little bit of a dip. I want to say like just barely the pad of my fingertip reaches in there, so tiny bit of a dip. Since it is one that I haven't used as often, I feel like it might be in here for a little bit, especially because it's not one that I really like. I feel like it's just a shade that I'm not going to reach for as often, and in my opinion, it feels like it performs a little different, or differently than the other shadows in this palette. I'm gonna keep working on this. This is the first one that I'm kind of like about. But yeah, so a total of 10 uses on that. Hopefully by next update I can have pan on that one as well, and maybe move on to a different palette. Alrighty, so the other palette in this 2 palettes month, I guess, was my Morphe 350S. I say 350S, I feel like some people say 35OS, is that right? I don't know, I've always said 350S, but it is the Natural Glow Shimmer one, so all shimmers. And I hit pan, probably hold it upside down, right side up, in this gold one, which was in my first randomized selection. So it's been in the project from the beginning, and I finally hit pan on it. I actually hadn't used it at all in my first month of this project, so having just used it this 1 month and hit pan is pretty exciting to me. I did use it mostly as a liner, so as you can see, I was able to kind of just concentrate and focus the brush on that one section in there. And it took me a total of only 8 times before I hit pan because of how I used the eyeshadow, which is pretty cool. This other shade right here, this tiny bit of pan right up at the top of the pan, and that is a shade that was also in from the beginning, and I used it a total of 13 times. And for that one, it took me a little longer, I feel, because I use it more as a topper than anything else. And as you can see, like the way the pan formed, it was like me rolling my finger in that pan to use it as a topper and to like pat it onto my lids. I feel like I used more of this overall, but the way that I was dipping into the pan is definitely affected the way it looks and how I hit pan on it. Having that more focused kind of liner pan might be like the easiest way to get through some of these softer shades for sure. And then the last shadow I have on here was 133, which is this shade right here, and there is quite a big dip, if you can see that. There's quite a big dip, and I feel like I'm super close to hitting pan. I might just get a few more uses out of it, but I have been using that like on the lid and blending it out. So I think I'm gonna hit pan on that one rather quickly because of how much that I have to use on the lid, but it is quite a pretty shade as well. And these are so creamy and easy to use. I really do enjoy using them a lot more. You can't really, oh, there you go. Alright, so these are the 2 shades that are rolling over into the next month, which I'm super glad that I dwindled down a lot of those neutral brown shades, and really excited to hopefully incorporate some new palettes this month. But yes, I feel pretty comfortable with both of these, and hopefully if they're the only two browns, I hope I just did not jinx myself. I need some wood to knock on. Okay, so hopefully I didn't just jinx myself, but I feel pretty confident that if these are the only two browns in this one, that I might be able to get through it. So let's go ahead and do everyone's favorite part. So I have everything in an EXF app on my phone, and as you can see, there's some that are blue. Those are things that I've hit pan on already, so that I know I don't have to go dig out that palette. I can just roll again. I am using the Pretty Random app, and I've already inputted all of the shadows that I have, including the ones that have pan. I haven't quite removed them from the list yet. But I get to pick 4 shades, so I'm just going to go ahead and do that now. I love that purple, actually. So 19, 104, oh no. I don't want it. What is that? 64 and 94. And pulls all of the palettes that are going to be added to this project. Thank God there are more palettes this time. Unfortunately, I know like the group of numbers that 104 was a part of, so that's fine. It'll be fine. That's okay. So 19 was from this Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. I palette so much, but it gets so dirty so fast, and I'm not very I'm super clumsy and I get stuff everywhere, so of course it's not gonna look beautiful forever, and I will have a handful of swatches and I'll grab onto a palette and destroy it in a second. But the shade that I randomly selected is Mulberry, so it's this one right here. That one actually has a tiny little dip in it, not as much as I would have hoped for. But here is that shade, and I think it'll actually go really nice with those. Man, my finger is huge. I'm trying to clean that up a little bit so I can fit all the shades on here. Okay, that looks more human. Okay. So it's a very pretty burgundy maroon shade. And I'm actually pretty excited to dip back into this palette a little bit. Since this project started, I've kind of neglected it, but I do have a couple pans in it already, so it'd be interesting to see how much further I can expand those pans and maybe hit pan in a couple other things in here. But yes, I'm super excited to have this in this project now. And then the next one was 64, and it's actually a palette, or I guess we can call it a palette, that we've seen before. It is this Beauty Superstars palette, their little beauty box collection. And I do want to try to depot some of these so I can get rid of this bulky packaging. But unfortunately, every time I try, they start to break. Like this one right here is cracked a little bit because of that. I did remove Heavenly though. I was able to get that out with a lot of work. Heavenly was in the first selection of this project roulette, and I hit pan on that. So it's actually in a Z palette now, so that I can use up the entire pan and maybe declutter that at least. So 64 is actually this shade right here, called Ongoing or Outgoing. So this shade right here, this shade right here, Outgoing. And I think I might have jinxed myself, but luckily I know how deep these pans are, so it might not be an issue. But there you go, another nice little transition shade. Okay. The next one was 94, and it's actually from the Wonderlust palette. Make sure it's the right one. Yes. Wonderlust. And it's the shade Splash. So it's actually another really pretty blue shade from this palette. And I did use it a couple times in the first month when we were panning Cruise. So quite familiar with this shade, and it's really pretty. Does not go with this color story at all, but we can make that work. It's a very pretty shade. So we're revisiting a couple old palettes. Thankfully we got a brand new one in as well. And of course, 104, I haven't looked at it yet. 104 is from the Morphe palette. Upside down. It's a Morphe palette. I haven't looked at it quite yet, but it's not too bad of a shade. It's not too crazy. I was hoping for maybe like one of the oranges, but it's this one right here, which isn't bad. So I picked up a lot on there. But oh, you can't see it. It's right there. It's pretty. I might be able to actually use that one as a highlight, to be honest. The other one was a little too yellow for me, but that one I might be able to use as a highlight. Actually, let's try it out really quick. Okay. Probably. Yeah, it's not too bad. I almost stabbed myself in the eye. I felt the brush get too close to me. Oh, I will be using this as a highlight. Ha. Okay, so that one came from the Morphe palette, which is, it's fine because I already have a shade in there that I need to pan. So we will just continue for the month of October. You cannot see that one, but there you go. Hopefully you can see that, all of them in once. I'm really excited to incorporate some different palettes, which is nice, a nice little change of pace this month, and to revisit a couple that we have used already. Alright, so those are the selections for the month of October. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this color story. I feel like I might be able to do a lot with this, and let me know if you're doing any projects of your own so I can check those out, and I will see you guys next time.